NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
I didn't think it was possible for me to be an
This is the Roundup on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Going from the Tularosa Basin and beyond, this is your local connection to the world of sports. From high school to college and to the pros, we cover the latest news and the biggest stories. Don't forget, this is your show. Change the topic anytime. Call us at 437-1230. The Roundup starts right now. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Hello and welcome into the show. Hope everybody's having a very good Wednesday. This is the Roundup. Are we drying out finally? Boy, kudos to those two boys soccer teams last night. Cruces and Alamogordo, of course, playing that game. I was helping out with volleyball last night with their Pink Out event, and just the way the timing worked out, because they moved the game up, I didn't get an opportunity to watch all the soccer game as I usually do. But got over there right after they had finished. They were in the locker room and was chatting with the coaches and everything. And I can't believe they played that entire game last night. And I saw somebody had a video online of the celebration afterwards. The kids, and usually, if you don't know, if you haven't gone to boys or girls soccer games, after the match, the teams go over to their section that's supporting them, and usually clap. It's kind of a soccer thing. They do other things in football. Obviously, we've seen the Tiger football team goes and high fives the stands after each game. That's a cool thing that they do. But if you ever watch soccer on TV, and if the visiting fans have made the trip, they go and clap for them, or if it's the home team, they definitely show appreciation for it. And anyway, long story short, they come sliding. I mean, the field has got puddles, and they come sliding in and show their appreciation for the home crowd. I mean, they were already pretty darn messy. Got to feel bad for I don't know who said it before they even started. Feel bad for the kids that had to be wearing white yesterday, and that was Cruces, and it was, not fun, I'm sure. So it was a lot more fun for the team that won. Tigers got a 3-2 victory and got goals from 3 seniors last night. It was senior night last night, so Urbe Bustamante had the game winner. Junior Barbosa had the opener. Julian Torres had the second goal of the match. And the assist went to Keanu Tran, who's also a senior, and Johnny Lucero. And I was told Logan Reyes had a bunch of saves last night. Daniel Ferranchalmi had a good game. So that group of 7 seniors had themselves a heck of a game last night. And I think we talked about last year's senior class a lot, with the group that graduated, and Adam and Tonio and Keith and Diego and that whole side. But this group, just as important. I mean, you talk about your starting 11 for the most part from last year, with the exception I think 1 or 2. This is part, such a big part of that group as well, and was so important for the Tigers winning the state title this year. And we'll see if it gets them a chance to be competitive this year as well. So, I think an interesting match, to say the least. and a big win for the Tigers. They also don't have to work around their schedule. Looks as if the Alamogordo girls are playing today. I missed that from this morning. I should have posted it online. But the Alamogordo girls are playing tonight at 7 o'clock. So the fields, I guess, are in good enough condition to play today over at Las Cruces. So that's a pretty important deal there. In terms of the district, I believe Gadsden had to cancel their game last night. I was trying to find some of the information online. It looks like they're going to have to, I believe, reschedule to Friday. They're going to bump the football game to Saturday and play the soccer match on Friday night. And which, if you don't know, they use their football field for soccer. There's a lot of the teams around the state that actually do that. They use their field turf for soccer matches. So I don't think we had any big changes in the district standings last night because of the weather. Alamo was one of the few teams. Alamo Cruces were one of two of the few teams that I think actually play last night. So Gadsden will have to play Oñate and then on Friday, and then turn around and play Centennial on Saturday. I think is the way I read that, but could have my information wrong. They certainly haven't posted anything up on Max Preps for that yet, so we'll see. But Alamo girls are playing tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll post that information up on the Facebook page for folks that want to know and are making the trip over there. I'm sure if you're connected with the team, you know that already. They're going to be on the bus and headed over that direction. JV's playing at 5 o'clock. No JV last night, by the way. I did have somebody that was asking that on the Facebook page last night. It was weather permitting, and by the time the varsity game, I mean, they made the right choice to move the varsity game up to 5. If they had tried to wait that out, I mean, they would have never played last night. So, heck, when did it stop raining last night? Like 11, and I think it rained some more after that. It was a mess. Not a day for outdoor sports, that's for darn sure. But yeah, that was something else. I was chatting with Andres Montoya, one of the assistant coaches, last night after the game. I said they're going to remember that forever. Whatever, state championships, very few teams get a chance to go win a state championship. They're, of course, going to remember that, but there are games that, will always stand out to you when you become an adult, the things that you just remember from high school. And, on senior night, playing in the pouring rain, pulling out a hard-fought victory, I would think that they're going to remember that. I can't speak for those young men, but I think it's kind of a cool experience, hopefully, that they enjoyed, and will be able to remember that one at the end of the season. So, not at the end of the season, but after they're done with their Tiger career. By the way, the Thursday game at Deming, they're playing at 3 o'clock, so they're playing super early there. Deming, I guess, doesn't have lights on their soccer fields, so they've got to play that exceptionally early, get that one going. And that game was changed due to ACT testing. Pretty much everything we talked about yesterday and to Monday in terms of soccer rankings, everything's pretty much the same. And the district and the way that it's set up. Tigers need a lot of help to win the district. They just need one game from either Oñate or Centennial to get a win over Gadsden. That would change things for the Tigers, move them up just a little bit in terms of the rankings, the seedings. But yeah, they value district finishes, and that the Tigers they've had 2 tough losses to Gadsden and a loss to Mayfield, and those are gonna maybe bite them here at the end in terms of seeding. But you know what? I think with that group, you get them into the state tournament. Maybe they have to go on the road in the first round. I feel like you got to have a decent amount of faith that they can get into that quarterfinal round. And once they get there, neutral site. They know the fields up there. They know the experience. This will be the 3rd straight year that they would have gone to Bernalillo. So, the big thing for the Tigers is just get out of the first round whatever way that you can. And I think it's always a little frustrating when you feel like, if we win the district, maybe we get a bye like we did last year. If you're sitting there as a member of the Tigers and thinking, we might have had that, but such is the reality. Maybe it's a little bit of a tougher road this year. 2 seed versus maybe a 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Who knows? But it also should be noted that Mayfield doesn't have easy games left on their schedule, so they could certainly get tripped up here at the end of the year as well. They get Las Cruces High. Still got to play Deming. That game's probably tonight, I would think, that they're playing Deming. They were supposed to play last night, and I'll say it again. Deming certainly can surprise folks, but Mayfield beat them 7-0 the first time, and it was a 1-0 game between Mayfield and Cruces. So Cruces, I'm sure, would love to play a little bit of spoiler for Mayfield, but. And again, I think if it's Alamo and Mayfield tied for first place by themselves, tiebreaker I think goes to Mayfield. If it's a 3-way tie, I'm not totally sure. I think Mayfield probably still wins out on that, and Gadsden's probably second. And yeah, the Tigers just need help from Cruces and Deming. Maybe get some wins. Same goes for Centennial and Oñate. If they can help out the Tigers a little bit, that would bump them up in the district. Alamo Volleyball lost straight sets to Oñate, but kudos to everybody who put together the Pink Out game event last night. I believe Coach Gorby was the JV coach and assistant varsity coach. She really put a lot of work into that, along with all the other folks with the Lady Tiger volleyball team and the parents involved. So they had bake sale items, they had other silent auction items, they got a lot of gift cards, and all the proceeds going towards the American Cancer Society. And that always seems to be a really great event that Lady Tiger volleyball puts on. I always look forward to it. I think they do a nice job and deserve some attention for helping out a good cause. And I thought it was a pretty fun night. Hopefully everybody who went to the game last night thought so too. And the serving game was pretty fun last night. I enjoyed that. We were trying to encourage them to try to serve underhand. Remember old school how you'd make the fist, you'd hold the ball, and you just hit it in the air. Everybody who wanted to hit it overhead looked cool. It's like taking free throws. It's Rick Barry, I think the former basketball player, who talks about shooting underhand free throws, granny style, and nobody will do it because it doesn't look cool. They want to be able to take the shot normally. And you think of bad NBA free throw shooters and how much that probably would help them a little bit, and they just refuse to do it. Same, I guess, with the underhand serve in volleyball. I understand the players not doing it. It doesn't really, because if you hit a good overhand serve in the actual game, it makes it more difficult for the opponent. I mean, there's a point for that. But when you're trying to just knock it over the net, I mean, I don't know. I guess for somebody like, I gave up on trying to be cool a long time ago because it was a losing battle, and so those kind of things, I guess, don't bother me that much. I would if I was a basketball player, I would totally do the granny free throw. I wouldn't care. If I was a really bad free throw shooter shooting it normally, and I could do it better doing underhand, who cares? Especially if I got to the free throw line a lot. Points are points. But gotta look cool. Doesn't matter if you don't look a little bit cool doing it. Also, volleyball last night. Not a great evening for our area volleyball teams. Mescalero Apache lost in 4 sets to Mesilla Valley Christian. Mesilla Valley's going to win that district, but Mescalero, I would think it's fair to say they're the second best team in the district, and looked like they got off to a slow start like they did in the first match. They came back and won the second set, though, and then Mesilla Valley Christian kind of took control in the third and fourth set. But third set especially, and I think in the fourth set, Mescalero really fought hard but just came up a little bit short. And then Cloudcroft lost in straight sets to Capitan last night. So Mescalero still in good shape in terms of being a playoff team in Class 2A. They should be fine. Thursday, we've got Tularosa Volleyball. They, believe, have their pink out game on Thursday. I saw it on their Facebook page. They called it something else, but they've got a similar event to what Alamogordo Lady Tiger Volleyball did last night. So if you want to go and support what they're doing on Thursday evening, it's called their pink match. So wear pink, and I don't know if they're doing anything... I don't know if they're doing anything quite like what Alamogordo was doing. There might be some other stuff going on. Yes, they're going to have a bake sale to support a local organization. So JV at 5 and varsity at 7 coming up on Thursday night as they face off against Dexter. So if you're going to the match, make sure you wear pink and bring some extra cash and get yourself some baked goods out there for Thule Volleyball. So that'll be on Thursday. And... do we have anything? We've got, of course, boys and girls soccer on Thursday. Girls tomorrow night have their senior night festivities. They will, thankfully, get much nicer weather for tomorrow night, so that's kind of a bonus for them. I'm trying to see. Mescalero Volleyball plays Thursday, I think, again. Yeah, they got Lordsburg, which that's a big match to fight it out for second place in that district. I think it's Mescalero and Lordsburg. Yeah, Lordsburg's in the running. Capitan might be the team that could jump in there and steal that away from Mescalero. And I think those two teams still have to play one more time this year. So we'll see what happens there. Cloudcroft hosts Mesilla Valley Christian tomorrow night. 5 and 6:30 start time for those games. And that's their, I guess we're calling it their pink and teal game. Okay. So they have their events coming up tomorrow. And if you didn't see, there's I think we mentioned it, the young lady on the Cloudcroft volleyball team that is battling cancer. And she, that might have to do why it's pink and teal instead of just the pink game. So, is it Ella Puckett? Yeah, Ella Puckett. That was the name on there. So I'm sure that's going to have a special meeting for the Cloudcroft volleyball team. The NMAA did a really nice piece on Ella and her family and the Cloudcroft volleyball team. Go to the nmact.org, and I feel like they did a really nice piece on that. They presented her with an award, and so they've got their event tomorrow night as well. So go out and support Cloudcroft, and got some good games tomorrow to go and check out. Again, Alamogordo girls soccer is playing tonight, 7 o'clock. Game they were scheduled to play yesterday against Las Cruces High. They're going to play it tonight, and then they'll turn around and play tomorrow against Deming. Okay? I think we got all our local stuff squared away. It is Wednesday, so we'll talk with Alamogordo Tigers head football coach A.J. Cisco. That'll be coming up here in the next 5-10 minutes or so stay tuned. We'll come back with more of the Roundup on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you can live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
Tularosa Basin Telephone Company is famous for keeping you connected. They promise to deliver fast speeds, provide a reliable network, and do it all with a smile. Their customer service team is on top of every call with the answers you need. In fact, they believe their customers are the most important part of their business. Give Tularosa Basin Telephone Company a call at 585-2700 for the internet experience you've been waiting for.
I'm Ed Horrell, founder of the Kindness Revolution. I've got some good news. Kindness is all around us. Our challenge then is simple. Look for it and talk about it. By talking about kindness to our families, friends, co-workers, and on social media, we can raise its awareness. Look for kindness at your local retail establishments, where employees are doing their best to serve you. When you experience that sense of good, let them know. It doesn't hurt to take a minute and let their managers know as well. Look for it at your school, where teachers are doing their best every day. Ditto on letting them and their administrators know as well. They may be more underappreciated as a profession in our communities than anyone else today. Look for it in your first responders. They're ready to sacrifice their safety for your safety and deserve our appreciation. Look for kindness. You'll find it all around you. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
Stop by White Sands Motorsports right here in Alamogordo for all your power sport needs. White Sands Motorsports carries Honda, Yamaha, and Roxor. New to the store, Can-Am and Textron side-by-side vehicles. As always, they handle parts and services for all makes and models. For the best power sport deals on 2 or 4 wheels, White Sands Motorsports has got you covered. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 9:30 to 5. 21070 Highway 70 or visit motorsportsofnewmexico.com.
People you know, community people, people you know, community people.
If you're looking for a new car or truck, we've got your loan and a local dealer has your vehicle. It's the people you know combination. See us today. Federally insured by NCUA, OFCU, 3 branches in Otero County, 434-8500.
Community people, you know.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the Roundup. And joining us, Alamogordo Tigers head football coach AJ Cisco. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Charles.
Happy to have you here. And kind of a mixed bag last week. I mean, clearly the final score is not a good one, but kind of like the Deming game. You guys moved the football and couldn't finish off drives against Goddard last Friday night.
Yeah, I think we had 4 drives that got inside the 30, and we ended up stalling out with 1st and 10 inside 30. So we still show some signs that we're still getting better and moving the football on a very good football team that has a chance to win a state championship like Goddard is a huge kind of ego boost for us that we can physically line up, run the football, have success against a team that's a big-time state championship contender. And we just got to figure out how to finish drives and not find ways to shoot ourselves in the foot. Whether it was a missed blocking scheme, we got a penalty. Find ways to kill ourselves and kill those drives and put us behind the sticks. But we told our kids right after the game, if you play in a good football team like Goddard, Roswell, Artesia, you got to take advantage of the opportunities you got. And when you don't, then that score can get out of hand pretty fast.
Was it the same kind of thing on defense that you saw with the Deming game, and that maybe there was a little bit of apprehensiveness on the defense, or was just that their offense is that good?
They're pretty dang good, and Dalton Bowles is a kid he's going to go play college football somewhere, and whether that's Division II or Division I is yet to be seen. But he's going to end up playing college football somewhere, so they're really good. We forced them to throw the football a couple times, and some they don't do very well, and they kind of hit 2 big touchdown passes against us. But our kids played; they're in the right spot. We didn't make the plays when we were asked to make the plays, and it's just good teams make those plays, and we're not to that level yet. We're going to get there. We're still trying to figure out how to be at that level where Goddard's at. And that's why I told our kids on Monday morning that when they redistrict, this is the district we want to be in. If we're going to be those guys and get to that level, we got to see it every year in, year out.
And I would imagine, the same as you've seen pretty much all season long is, you compare last year to this year when you play a team like Goddard, and it seems to be an improvement for you guys overall, right?
Yeah, and Goddard's a lot better than they were last year, and that's just what happens when you have an established program. When you have a down year, you're going to have a bunch of kids come back, and that next year is a whole lot better, and we're not established yet. We're still trying to build that foundation to make it permanent, and it's going to happen. But, with Goddard, and we look back and we had success. Last year we didn't move the ball very well against Goddard, and I think the first play they hit for 80 and was over. And we had some success and forced them into some long situations, but we just got to figure out how to build on it and make plays when we're called on to ask. And it's not going to get any easier the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Roswell and Artesia are coming off a crazy battle at the Bulldog Bowl last week. You guys get Roswell this week. Artesia and Goddard are going to face off in the Wool Bowl in district. In comparison, Roswell to Goddard and what you've seen how different do these two teams look? I mean, offenses I'm sure are different, but
yeah, they're both the exact same, and they want to run the football by all means, but they're polar opposites in how they do it. Rawlseye wants to get on the edge, and rightfully so. They got two kids that can flat out fly, and Justin Carrasco and Josiah Reese. Both are track guys, and both are phenomenal athletes, and they're going to get in gun, and they're going to run sweep, and they're going to run counter, and they're going to let their athletes be athletes in space. And Goddard's the opposite. They're going to put as many people as they can in the box, and they're going to line up, and they're going to toss it and say, here we go. And if we get 4 yards a shot, we're okay with it, and we'll end up methodically wearing you down. So Rawlsville High is a challenge. I mean, you still look at that district. Our district still has top 3 teams in the state. Now, however they finished last week and who won, who lost, they just switched the order. They're still the top 3 teams in the state.
Yeah, kind of interesting in both rankings. Roswell loses that game in Artesia. I think they're still ranked ahead of Artesia. So I don't understand that whole
it's
deal.
A crazy deal, and that game it's a good football game, and it's two established football programs that have long history of success, and they got after it in the bowl, and we get to play Roswell, and we're excited for the opportunity and excited to try to improve off last week.
Well, I think we saw something a little bit different from you guys last week. Under center, single back. I mean, I don't think we've done that a whole lot this season.
No, that was stuff we did some last year at times, and stuff that in the past we've done a whole lot. But with Braden and reading the option, we did some triple option stuff and going back to some stuff that nobody's seen before. And we'll continue to build on stuff like that. We got some new things that we've done, that I've done in the past, that we're still bringing in, that we can start to implement into our program.
Yeah, showing a little bit more faith in the guys being able to pick that stuff up and be able to do it well, I'm sure, is what's important for you.
Yeah, it was, and that's huge. Like you saw us when we got into the triple option series, and we broke the first 3 times running against Goddard. They know we can run triple option. I don't know how much they prepared for it, but that's something they know that's huge in our program. We broke the first 3 plays. We ended up throwing the uncover route, which is something we worked on all week that we knew we were going to have, and then we blew a read. At 1st and 10, we blew a read, got tackled for loss on the 2nd and 14, and that was another drive that we got inside the 30. Those are the things that we got to understand, that we got to make that play, and we got to read that correctly, and if we don't, it can be a huge drive killer for us.
Defensively for Roswell, I mean, are there things that you see that they do that you guys can maybe exploit or take advantage of a little bit?
Yeah, and that's something that we've worked on all week, and we're excited for that, and continue to do what we do and add new stuff. They've got a Mike linebacker named Cade Manzanatos that he's a man, and he's a good football player, played from last year. We kind of know where they're going to be when they line up by what formation we give them, which is a huge bonus to our kids to know exactly what they're going to get by what formation we throw at them. They still got athletes on the field. I mean, the Carrasco kid and the Reese kid play defense, and they're not as big as Goddard was up front, but they're junior, senior loaded again, and it's going to be a challenge to move the football.
Yeah, I think, again, there's some positives to take out last week. I mean, that seems to be the difference this season, is that I feel like most weeks you can take something, you can watch the tape, and you can give the guys something, a bonus to build towards next week.
And our guys understand that. Everybody, they know this is not a overnight fix. This is a long process, and they're still bought into our process of what we're doing. And you got to respect a bunch of great young kids that are going to be great young men because of that, and they're so loyal to our football program and to our coaching staff. And knowing the fact that we're going to continue to improve, and they see the film the next morning, and they see the chances they had to put points on the board, doesn't mean the game's going to change, doesn't mean the outcome's going to change, but by putting points on the board, and you go back to the Demi game, or we got to match score for score, and we haven't done that yet, and that's part of being a young program, not being in those situations and knowing how to capitalize.
Yeah, and I think more than anything, when you can see, yes, we can score, yes, we can compete with some of these teams that we know are going to be playing maybe in December here at the end of the year, that's got to be a huge difference for the kids that are sophomores and juniors in this group.
Yeah,
and the seniors too.
It is, and that's what the seniors they've done a great job taking on leadership role to make sure this program continues to go as planned and on course. But our sophomores and juniors understand it. They look back and they say, hey, we're having success now with a bunch of juniors playing, and we're moving the football on good football teams, and we're finding ways to get stops here and there. And it's just one of those things you got to continue to build on and continue to find that success.
When you talk about building for the future tonight, black and gold game at Tiger Stadium, and you were mentioning that the turnout for this year has been much improved.
Yeah, it's we're going to have the black and gold game for our 8th graders tonight at 7 o'clock in the stadium. It's their first time to get under the lights, get in the stadium, kind of get them introduced in the program. We had them there yesterday. They came to come watch practice, ended up hiding in the concession stand to get out of the rain while we were still practicing. After that, we brought them in the film room. I talked to the kids for about 20 minutes. We got them some T-shirts that say Black and Gold 2018. We had our football players talk to them. And then our football players showed them around our facility, showed them around the school, talked to them about what it means to be a Tiger, what it means to be black and gold. And that's huge for these kids right now because they go from 3 different schools where one's Tiger Cubs, one's Jaguars, one's the Eagles. And we told them as of now, you guys are all Tigers. And we all bleed black and gold no matter what your school colors are now. We're all here for one reason. And we have 61 kids that are going to participate tonight, and that's 61 on the roster with all our 8th graders, and which is huge. And I've heard about this class for a long time, for the 2 years I've been here, that this was a big class and this is a huge class. And got to meet the kids last night, a bunch of great kids, good-looking athletes, and we're excited to see what they're going to do tonight in the stadium and get to watch them live and kind of see what Tiger football is going to be in the future.
Yeah, and that's 61 kids that you hope are going to be out for freshman football coming up next year.
Yeah, and that's a huge deal, and that's where we got to get to. We're going to, in that Mayfield, Cruces, those districts, those schools, they have 60 freshmen every year. This year we had, I think, 32. Last year I think it was 35. And if we get a big class to come in, we'll lose some kids along the way, but if we have a senior class of 35 like Artesia does year in, year out, that's a good group, and we build out with another class, there's a chance to win a state championship if they do what's right in the offseason and throughout the year.
All right, well, we'll see what happens on Friday night. Tigers hosting the Roswell Coyotes, and 7 o'clock kickoff. Coach, good luck on Friday.
I appreciate it, man. Go Tigers.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
There are no further roadblocks scheduled on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, the number to call, 575-678-1178. Tonight's forecast is calling for mostly clear skies. In Alamogordo, expect an overnight low of 50. For Cloudcroft, an overnight low of 40. Tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies with patchy fog in the morning. In Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 72, low of 49. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 61, overnight low of 39.
When you hear the term Outfitters of Champions, you know it's the Winner's Circle. They can do all your custom silk screen and embroidery on hats, shirts, and jackets. Whether it's for your business, team sales, special events, or personal use. The Winner's Circle is the place for quality work at reasonable prices with group and team discounts available. They also customize trophies, personalized plaques, and sporting gear. The Winner's Circle, 1201 10th Street, or give them a call at 437-9373.
What makes Vision Ford Lincoln Hyundai unique? At Vision Ford, we're all about you, your vision, your style, your needs, and your story. Vision is fully stocked with dozens of the hottest 2018 models, including the Ford F-Series, America's #1 selling truck for 40 years. With financing options that fit every budget and a sales team dedicated to you, Vision Ford Lincoln Hyundai continues the Yes We Can tradition. All we need is you. Visit us today at 1500 South White Sands Boulevard or 24/7 online at visionfordlincoln.com. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. The Roundup. Thanks for Coach A.J. Cisco coming in as he does every week. And want to say it again, I appreciate him coming in and taking the time and giving us 10, 15 minutes every week. And, it's, when a season's not going the way they necessarily want it to come and talk to some yahoo on the radio like me every week. Sometimes you don't want to do it. And, he's always in here with a smile and happy to come in and talk and chat football, and I appreciate the heck out of that. So I maybe don't say that enough, but I really appreciate Coach Cisco taking the time out and chatting with you getting with me, and hopefully giving you guys some good information heading into Friday night's football game. Do want to mention again, Alamogordo girls soccer is playing today on the road at Las Cruces High. They did reschedule that game for tonight, and then they're at home tomorrow facing off against Deming. That'll be the regular season finale. Maybe the season finale for Lady Tiger Soccer. We'll see. I just looking at Max Prep's rankings, it may be a bit of an uphill climb, but the way things break out in terms of districts and all that, maybe it'll be something different. I don't know, but this is not going to be unusual. There's going to be teams that are going to have good seasons. Alamo has a chance to go at 12-8 this year, and 12-8 and third place in districts is may not an 8 win 8-4 in district may not be enough for a lot of teams to make the postseason, because you have such a bigger classification now, and it's going to be more loaded in every class going forward. So it'll be a bit of an adjusting period, I feel like. And here's the other part about it. Centennial's going to make the playoffs. Mayfield, who's in second place in the district on the girls' side, is on the bubble. I mean, they may not make it. That's
that's where we're at right now. It's interesting. So I don't know. I think it's probably fair that people view the Albuquerque districts as the better districts in the state. They've brought a lot of state champions the last number of years, but it hasn't been a whole lot of love for the for the district in the southwest part of the state. Oh well. All right, let's move on. World Series last night, great game, by the way. Good back and forth matchup. The Clayton Kershaw haters have got lots of ammunition coming out of last night's game. He's kind of an enigma, man. I don't quite know what to say about it. He is one of the best pitchers of this generation, but he's not a good postseason pitcher, or at least he is a very very back and forth. Feast or famine, I think, is probably the word I want to use there. That he has a lot of really good postseason starts. He just has a lot of really bad postseason starts. And there was a couple fluky things that happened in the game last night. But at the end of the day, it's a legitimate criticism of Clayton Kershaw. I've tried to defend it and felt like it was a bit unfair on him, but I've kind of turned the corner on that. And that it's at least a fair discussion to have about him. I don't think it takes away what he is in the regular season. There are some people that would say that he's not a great pitcher because he's not a great postseason pitcher. And I think that's unfair. I think there's a lot of guys that are great regular season players and maybe aren't as good in the postseason. You kind of like him. You look at how much a guy like, and I'm not saying it's a straight comparison from Clayton Kershaw to LeBron James, but certainly there's been some, LeBron hasn't had the success in the postseason that a lot of people feel like he should. And I think that's the same thing with Clayton. I mean, when you talk about him being the best pitcher, not having a good postseason record certainly hurts a little bit. But I think there's some guys that, don't necessarily have a lot of postseason success as a pitcher and have great regular season runs. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at the different guys from this generation, but I think it's fair to at least have that as a note in Clayton Kershaw's legacy when we get to the end of his career, is that he didn't bring it in the postseason like we would expect. You go through the great pitchers of the eras, and most of those guys, if their teams could get to the playoffs and get to the World Series, they were good there too. You look at the Braves pitchers in the 90s. You look at a guy like some of the great Yankees pitchers back in the day. Sandy Koufax, and you go down the rest of the line, and there's a lot more. A Jim Palmer, or it just it's an interesting deal with Kershaw. And I also will say that he's not the same pitcher he was even 2-3 years ago. It's clear that injuries a little bit have had an issue for him. And here's the other part about it, though. We're not talking about Chris Sale in the same way coming out of last night's game, are we? I've listened to throughout the day, kind of tuned into a couple of different radio shows, and it's all about Kershaw. It's not about Chris Sale. And Chris Sale has been, I think, in Clayton Kershaw's atmosphere in terms of one of the best pitchers of the game over the last 5 years or so, right? I mean, don't you think that's a fair thing to say about Chris Sale? He had basically the same line last night that Kershaw did. I think they both went 4 innings. I think they both allowed 4 runs. Neither of them were very good last night. But we're really focusing on Kershaw and not really talking about Chris Sale. Probably because Chris Sale's team won. But that had nothing to do with him. I mean, he put his team in the exact same situations that Kershaw put his side in. But go figure. The star of last night's game seems to be Alex Cora. There's a lot of people really talking him up in some of the managerial decisions that he made. Certainly the Eduardo Nunez pinch hit decision that he made. And Nunez, of course, paid him off for that, hitting a 3-run home run. And, of course, on the other side of it, people criticizing Dave Roberts for bringing in the pitcher that faced Nunez. I can't think of, was that Wood that pitched to him last night? I think it was. He brought in one of their better relievers previous to that only had him do 2 outs and then switched out again. That's something I always kind of wonder. You know, if you've got a great reliever and he's pitching well, why be so quick to pull bring out the hook and pull him out of there? I know that it's very specialized, and we see a lot of teams that, they're bringing him in to face one-hitter kind of deals. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm also not a major league manager, and I don't have to make those tough decisions, so it's easy for me to sit here on the side. But that's where more of the focus was coming out of last night's game, was people praising Alex Cora and not really doing the same for Dave Roberts. But Dodgers fans don't despair. They were in last night's game. That was a close game up till the Nunez home run in the 7th. I think it's going to be a fun series. Both teams have a lot of firepower. I think the question is, whose pitching can really show up in the series, because we didn't necessarily see it last night. Certainly there was some good stuff out of the bullpen for the Red Sox, but starting pitching the rest of the way, certainly for Boston, there's going to be some question marks in some of those spots. I think Eovaldi's going to be fine probably, but when David Price's name comes up, that's going to be the more curious one. Is it do we get David Price and the way he pitched at the end of that series against Houston, or do we get... there's another guy that has been one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball over the last few years and is just a bad postseason pitcher. I never thought David Price was quite at the level that Clayton Kershaw was, but... So, hey, I think we're in line for a fun World Series. I'm pretty excited about it. I thought that was a good game last night. So Game 2 tonight, and a reminder, you can listen to it here on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. We hope that you will tune in this evening. I will say again, make sure you make different listening plans. If you've been planning to listen to the radio for the games on Friday and Saturday, Tigers football, Aggies football is going to cover up the World Series, so we won't be airing those games. You can go to the ESPN app. You can go to ESPNradio.com. Listen to the games for free on there if you've got an internet connection. So there's a couple different ways, and of course, Fox has the TV broadcast of it. I know a lot of people don't like Joe Buck. I still don't understand the Joe Buck hate. Is it? I guess people say that he's boring, that maybe he doesn't get us excited enough. Somebody made out a point that he likes baseball, so maybe he's a little bit better at baseball than he is at other stuff, and that's fair. I don't think he's especially great at golf, but I don't think he's bad. Does this still all go back to the fact that people feel like he basically it was nepotism that got him the job at Fox? Do you really think if he was that bad? He started working at Fox in the mid-90s? 25 years later, do you think he'd still be working there if he was that terrible? I can't see that, man. I don't. I'm not going to go crazy defending Joe Buck. He certainly isn't. I don't know if he'd necessarily be my first choice for a play-by-play guy, but I think I've probably got a different play-by-play guy that I like for every sport. So, but man, a lot of people hate Joe Buck. I don't know who. Somebody wrote I want to say it was Jimmy Traina, who writes for Sports Illustrated, wrote an article about Joe Buck, and I just went for the comments because I knew what they were going to be, and it was majority of it where people were like, nope, don't like Joe Buck. I personally don't get it, but I guess that's not for me to get one way or the other. It's certainly a taste and opinion kind of thing. And I will say, I like Dan Shulman better than I like Joe Buck. I will say that. I'd probably take Matt Vasgersian over Joe Buck personally. But it's certainly not. He's not somebody that I will turn off the TV because I can't listen to him. There have been some people in the past who are like, no, just can't do it anymore. So, I don't know. If it's a sporting event, for the most part, I feel like I can probably mute it. But you also want the crowd sounds and things like that. The Joe Buck hate, strong. I don't know who would be the people I'd have to think about that, ones I'd pick for each sport. Hockey would probably be, it used to be Mike Emmerich. I think I might go with Kenny Albert these days. I like him a lot. I think he does a good job. And Football, I think I'd probably still stick with Al Michaels, I think. I don't know, I've got a few favorite. Ian Eagle is one of my favorites. I like him in pretty much any sport that he does, whether it's college basketball or football. I think he's excellent. And you know what's funny to me is there's a lot of criticism for Joe Buck. Jim Nance, who I think does golf better than anybody else. But in terms of basketball and football, I don't know, man. Never been one of my favorites. But he's excellent at golf. That is definitely his sport, for sure. All right, we'll take a break. Do our broadcaster rankings another day. If you want to call into the show, 437-1230. More of the roundup for you after this.
Everybody else wakes up so rested and cheery, while you wake up with back pain and ready to get back into bed again. They make you sick. It takes 30 minutes just to get your back feeling normal. You work hard to make life great. Why is sleep such an issue? It shouldn't be. Sleepwell can help you find your sleep again. From finding a mattress that supports your back to relieving strain by using a power base, Sleepwell will partner with you. Come see us today. Find the rest you need and lose the back pain. When you sleep well, you live well.
Looking for a good pre-owned vehicle? You know the one everyone wants? Late model, low mileage, good condition? Then you need to look at Richardson Motors. Robbie and his staff will get you in a vehicle you want, whether it's a car, truck, SUV, or van. At Richardson Motors, it's about taking care of the customer right the first time. So for the best service, the best vehicles, it's got to be the best dealership. Richardson Motors. Richardson Motors, 318 South White Sands, next to McDonald's.
I didn't think it was possible for me to be an alcoholic. I was 24 with a good career. I thought something else was making me sick, shaky, and afraid to face people. Then I found AA and discovered it wasn't something else. It was alcohol. AA helped me find a new life. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
For the local AA hotline, call 430-9502. That's 430-9502.
The will to win is not nearly as important as the will to prepare to win. We live for preparation, and we prepare to be the best that we can be. Every time we step on the field, we know we did everything we could to be prepared for this game.
Caught! He's got a touchdown!
Be prepared to catch all the action right here on the Aggie Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back into the show on a Wednesday. If you missed Coach A.J. Sisko's interview, we'll post the entire show up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESPN Alamogordo. You can listen to it there. We'll have a segment of it on our football broadcast as well, so you can listen to it, but we'll have it available for you guys to listen. And a reminder, again, that black and gold game is tonight over at Tiger Stadium, so go and check out the 8th graders. And a cool deal. I mean, it's a good point that might understand. It's a pretty decent rivalry between the middle schools and Fairmena Sports. It's a big deal for, Mountain View and Chaparral whenever they face off against each other in 7th and 8th grade stuff. So, everybody's going to the same high school. Everybody's going to be on the same team next year and hopefully continuing to play football. So, yeah, I see. I'll continue to be the optimist and say I see positive things on the horizon for Tiger football. And it's I can't be a guy with a crystal ball and sit here and say that next year or the year after this program's going to be where it needs to be. I don't know. I wouldn't even dare to make that guess. But I think Coach Sisko's doing a good job. I know that the win total is not there, but it certainly seems like the kids still want, they want to continue to remain a part of the program and be involved, and that to me is a big sign. That's a really good sign, when there's struggles going on, but the team still wants to keep working and keep fighting. That, and you see it in some places where, And it's not, that's not necessarily fair. It's not always the program and the coach that sometimes can have sometimes it's just the kids that they just don't want to play anymore. And that's their choice. I respect the kids that, want to tough it out and keep fighting, but sports is an optional thing. I do think, sticking through something when it's hard is one of those deals that, you'll learn helps out when you become an adult, when you try to fight through, you don't just quit right away, which I know has been a criticism of this generation and probably my generation too, and that, things get difficult and like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's like a video game. I can just turn it off, go do something else that's easier. I don't think that's fair. I think there's a lot of people my age, there's a lot of people, these, teenagers right now that work hard and do what needs to be done and make things happen. So, but it's easier to just lump the whole group in, right? I'm not saying any of you guys are doing that. I'm just saying you read things like that and it's this generation. Terrible. I have heard coaches say that before. And I do think that coaching today is probably more of a challenge than it was at times, certainly maybe even 10 years ago, certainly 20. And if you go back any later than that, of course. The way that you have to coach today, man, you can't be that hard-nosed, scream and yell, let me grab somebody by the face mask kind of coach anymore. I don't think that necessarily works as much. And more importantly, when you see that stuff, was it Jimbo Fisher that grabbed one of his players during a game this year? And everybody kind of got all worked up over that. And there are people that are in their 40s and probably 30s, 40s, and 50s that are watching that and going, yeah, that's nothing, man, in terms of how my coach dealt with me in whatever sport that you played. So I would rather see coaches not, there's something very, to me, kind of like disrespectful and, grabbing a kid by the face mask and think, I'm not really but, I think it's also, I guess I view it as there's different ways to do things, and doesn't mean it's better, doesn't mean it's worse. But I'm also not a coach. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would criticize me for not being, I don't know, I guess being wimpy about that. I'm not sure what would be the right word. I'm sure words that I can't say on the air in the way that I view those kind of things. So, a couple of headlines today worth mentioning. A jury on Wednesday convicted three defendants accused of pay-for-play schemes to influence high-profile basketball recruits to attend Kansas, Louisville, and NC State. Adidas employee James Gatto, former Adidas consultant Merle Code, and Christian Dawkins, a former runner for NBA agent Andy Miller, were found guilty after a 3-week criminal trial in federal court in New York. The jury of 8 women and 4 men deliberated for more than a dozen hours over 3 days before reaching the verdict. They were accused of felony charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud by paying money from Adidas to the families of recruits to ensure they signed with Adidas-sponsored schools, and then with the sneaker company and certain financial planners and agents once they turned pro. So this is the whole thing. I mean, you've been hearing recently with Kansas, and you haven't heard as much about NC State, but you've heard a lot about Kansas and Louisville out of this whole deal. And basically, it was the last straw that cost Pitino his job. Kansas has managed to kind of stay above the fray a little bit. The NCAA has sort of been very quiet about this whole deal, and it's weird. It's not surprising with the way the NCAA does things a lot of the time that they're just, oh yeah, we're not, we don't really see anything that we need to do here. This isn't in our purview. And meanwhile, if a kid, has a snack from somebody, if somebody buys them $1 snack, that's their purview, though. If I were to go and take somebody from the NMSU football team or basketball team and, hey, let me buy you lunch, man, that could be an NCAA violation. But, hey, a major shoe company that I'm sure pours lots of money into the NCAA and its teams was influencing players to go to schools. Oh, that's not what we need to worry about. That's the FBI. They can focus on that. NCAA is a joke, man. The things that they get worked up over and the things that they don't is beyond frustrating to me. I just don't get it. This isn't a big deal, but some of those other things that, you'll go to the ends of the earth and declare a player ineligible for having a lunch that they shouldn't, needing to get fed. Just the amount of money that goes into college sports that mainly goes to the schools and to the coaches. And, of course, when there's some money going to parents of kids, I would rather college sports be a case where kids are getting recruited and they're going to play because, they want to play at that school and they want to go get an education. That's a perfect world. We don't live in that. And I certainly don't have the answer to the problem of compensating players better, especially at these big programs that have a ton of money. I do like the fact that the G League, at least for basketball, that you can get a $125,000 contract out of high school, go play in the G League for a year, and then enter the NBA draft if you don't want to go to school. I think that would solve a lot of problems for kids that, need money maybe right away for their family. At least they'll get that opportunity. It might hurt college basketball in the long run. But I think if college basketball can move away from things like this, it would be a good deal. Continuing with the crime and punishment, Denver Broncos waved backup quarterback Chad Kelly on Wednesday morning, just a day after Kelly was arrested for criminal trespassing in the early morning hours on Tuesday. He made a brief appearance Wednesday in Arapahoe County Court, where his next court date is now for November 8th. He was in the Broncos complex for 25 minutes before his court appearance, and he is not formally charged. He is a 7th-round draft pick in the 2017 draft. And let's see, he was, after a couple reported he came into their house uninvited, according to a determination of probable cause. According to the affidavit, the man and the woman told police that a stranger came into their Inglewood, Colorado home after 1 a.m. The intruder sat down on the couch next to the woman, who was holding the couple's young child and was mumbling incoherently. The man yelled at the intruder to get out and hit him in the back with a vacuum cleaner tube. Police surveillance video showed a man wearing dark pants, a white sleeve shirt, with a brown vest and a red scarf around his neck entering the front door. Kelly had been at a team Halloween party hosted by Von Miller. Several players contacted in the past 2 days told ESPN and the NFL Network they were angry that Kelly was acting up at that party and at one point was asked to leave the gathering just before he was arrested. Whew. And this is Jim's... Oh, this is his nephew. Okay. They didn't think it was his son. And he had some problems when he was at Ole Miss, didn't he? Yeehaw. Okay. That is an interesting story. I had heard the story. I hadn't read a lot of the details. That was the first time that I had read that. By the way, that was an ESPN News Services article there. But wow. All right, that'll do it for today. Again, Alamogordo girls soccer playing tonight. They are at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, taking on Las Cruces High. Best luck to them. 5 p.m. JV, 7 o'clock for varsity. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, this is Will Kane. You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, Southern New Mexico's sports leader, KNMZ Alamogordo.
Offense lived up to that billing last evening. Dave Roberts' defense didn't help out either.
The defense, uncharacteristic tonight from our club, and I don't think the pitching line is reflective of the way the guys threw. To beat a club like that,